Well, it wasn't that long ago that we faced them, so we're pretty familiar with what they do, but they're probably fairly familiar with what we're doing. That's the part of the season we're in. There's no real secrets. So playoffs are about making plays, some little adjustments, but really, it's a task where we're going to need to be at our best. So the preparations have been smooth. We're looking forward to getting on a plane tomorrow and getting out there and putting our best foot forward in the first phase of this competition.
All right, we'll start in the room. Herman, go ahead.
Man, good to see you.
Hey,
Congrats on making the MLS playoffs with the team. Just talk about a little bit about Seattle. Morris and Rusnik have 39 goal contributions for them this year. How important is stopping them part of the game plan to get a good result to Sunday?
Well,
Monday?
yeah, anytime we face a 10 of Rusnik's qualities, it's an important part of the game. Fortunately in our league, fortunately and unfortunately, you see him every weekend. You see this type of quality 10 in this league, but one difference between him and maybe some is his relationship with Jordan Morris is as good as any 10-9 relationship in the league, both defensively but more so offensively. Morris, I think, has really found a home at that 9 spot and has bought into it, and he's doing a great job. He's always pushing the line. If you fall asleep for a second, it's a slip through on the ground or over the top, and you're in trouble. So that's an important relationship that we have to try to handle. We have some ways, and we've certainly talked about it, but it's not easy. It's not easy. De La Vega is a real handful, and you can see him growing into the league each time he plays, and he's starting to build relationships. And Rothrock's a real gem for them, a real pickup that a kid that just gives and gives and gives and is relentless in his running. So he's been a nice addition too. But they're complete. When you talk about Seattle, it's no different than a lot of the teams that they've had over since they've come into this league, and they don't have a lot of weaknesses. They've never been poor defensively. They're always well organized. They always have playmakers. They always have boys out wide that can make plays, and they have really effective forwards. But it's always a collective group, and Smetzer's done a great job since he's been there to put those teams together in a collective way where they usually are balanced and don't have a lot of weaknesses.
Then my second question is, I want to get your thoughts on the playoff format, best of 3 opening round, and is game 1 a must-win to set up a possible clinching scenario at home in game 2?
No, I don't use the word must-win. It's because it's not. It's obviously not a must-win to win the series. We'd like to win it. We'd like to go out there and get the result, but it could be 2, it could be 3. As long as we're standing at the end, that's the important thing. The playoff format itself, it's whatever. I don't, it's what it is. I can't spend too much time thinking about what the greatest format is for this league. I've seen probably 10 different versions of the playoffs in my 20-something years with this league. You just try to figure each one out and put yourself and your team in a good position to make sure you understand it and then kind of try to figure it out. But I don't spend too much time on it. It's a difficult task. I understand that much. I've been around the league enough where they've thrown a lot of different things at it, and it's not easy. Being behind the scenes at times, trying to figure out and solve all these home field situations, and it's not easy.
My last one, this 24 Dynamo has broken records along the way to get to the playoffs. In order to advance to the next round, they have to break another one. The franchise has never won in Seattle. How big of a motivating factor is that for the team to get their franchise win?
Well, since I've been here for 2 years,
Right.
No, I'll say this. those keep coming at me. And it's like every other week there's a new, like, look, Dynamo have never done this. And some of them surprise me because of the success that this club has had. And some of the wonderful teams that have been walked through these hallways. So I don't – the guys know that. You know, we know that. It's been, I think, documented enough. And I like when those come up, frankly, with this group because they do like a challenge and they relish in some of that underdog nature. And so I think we've jumped many of those hurdles over the last 2 years, and hopefully this is another one.
Thank you, man. Safe travels.
Thank you.
David, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. You mentioned some of the challenges, right? It's turf, it's crowd. How do you go at it with those factors?
I think you enjoy it. I think you go in there with the right mentality and understand it's going to be a wonderful atmosphere. You know, it's just some of this is how you look at it. What's your outlook on it? You know, we're excited. We're excited. I think the group's excited to get into a place that is, again, hard to play against. I think it helps that we were just there. I do like that part, that we just played on the turf, and we know what that facility looks like rather than it was, 7-8 months ago. So, turf is turf. These guys are used to that. They've played on it. After a few minutes, they start to get used to the field. But we're just excited.
And then you're gonna have Hector and Ponce compared to last time. How much impact will it provide?
I hope a lot. I anticipate a lot. The two starters and two really pivotal pieces to what we're doing, and when we're playing at our best, they're both on the field. I'm excited to have them available.
Coach, good morning. Congratulations
Morning.
on making the playoffs, right? You broke the record, surpassing last year's points. Do you believe Seattle is the toughest challenge you'll have on the way to an MLS Cup?
No, not necessarily. I think they're a very good team and a very team. As I talked about before, they're complete. They're hard to break down. They've got weapons. They're as good as any team in this league, I would say, and I put them up there with the top 4 or 5 teams in the league right now with both form and playoff experience. So it's a tough task. But I'm not, LAFC or LA Galaxy or, the next opponent doesn't really, I don't have that luxury right now. All focus is on this team, and it's a tough one. But as I said before, it's a challenge this team will accept and hopefully rise to the occasion.
You speak about challenges, but the defensive challenge, the challenge that the team offers is, being very well defensively. How much of a challenge will that play against a team like Seattle?
Well, yeah, we have to be efficient. They don't give up a lot of chances, and there's certain areas that you can exploit against a team that that defends in the way they do. But it's very difficult, and you have to work. You have to be specific. You have to do a lot of little things, and then when you do get when you get your looks, you got to bury them. You got to be efficient. But there's a lot of Seattle talk. We're also a pretty good defensive team too, and hopefully that sees us through in this series.
Thank you, Coach.
Anything else in the room? Yep, Ramon.
Just your thoughts on Coco Carrasquilla winning the CONCACAF Player of the Year?
Yeah, what a nice surprise that was. Surprise for us that it just came out of nowhere. That I didn't know about it. But then that surprise, I guess isn't that much of a surprise because he had such a good year last year and into the early parts of this year with Panama. He's a joy to be around and coach, and I feel very lucky to have crossed paths over the last 2 years with Coco and him being a part of this. So to see anybody in our locker room get awards and accolades for in that way is just it's nice. It's nice to be kind of a part of it, and the guys feel, everybody here feels a part of that. His support system, and he's great. And I know how much he means to that team and the country itself. And there's a lot of pressure on Coco to be the big name in Panama, in a country. I've never felt that pressure of having a country, putting a country in some ways on your shoulders at times when you line up. And I can, but he does it with such grace, and I think he's a great ambassador for Panama.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, we'll jump to Zoom. We'll start with Danielle. Danielle, go ahead.
Hey Ben, what are the areas in which you think your team has improved the most over the course of this season?
It's a good question. We've changed some personnel, I would say. So I think the personnel has moved us forward. In particular, Ponce coming in and giving us that true forward, I think has really elevated us both offensively and defensively. I hope to think, I like to think that our offensive numbers have improved. Our set piece situation, both offensively and defensively, have improved as we've put a lot more time and energy in those. I would kind of narrow it, I guess, to kind of the offensive stuff, the both sides of set pieces, and then just personnel, just adding personnel to our group. The culture is good. It's about the same as it has been for 2 years. It's a group that likes each other and is excited for this matchup this weekend.
All right, we'll go to Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Sam.
A lot has been said about Seattle offensive quality, just like you rightly said, that Dynamo are a very damn good defensive team. 8 days has elapsed since Houston played, and that was against LA Galaxy 2-1 home win. How important is this rest going into how you prepare for your team against Seattle?
I think you only need about 6 days, 5, 6, 7. Anything in that region, these guys can recover, especially at this point in the season. So in some ways, it's probably been a little bit long for us and Seattle. You want to we're conditioned for that week-to-week soccer, and even 1 or 2 days extra is a little bit of a funkier week from your typical rhythm. So, but we manage that. Seattle's dealing with the same thing.
I will ask you, what would you say has been the focal point in training leading up to this game? Are there any specific aspect that you want to highlight?
No, Sam. It's playoff time, man. I can't give anything away. I can't tell you what we're working on training. I told you. Their coach is listening to this.
All right, I wish you all the best on Monday.
Thanks, Sam. Sorry I didn't answer that question.
All right. Samara, go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Coach.
Hi, Samara.
Congrats on another postseason. So back-to-back postseason since 2013. What does this say about the current status of the Dynamo team under your helm?
Well, yeah. Well, it means something's working, right? And it's not me. I think we have a good group of players here that understands kind of what we're trying to build here. And when I came here and the conversations with Ted and Pat and Asher, it was all about sustaining this, right? And not just having 1 year where you do well and things went our way. Last year I've talked about the honeymoon of a first year. This was going to be a very tough year, this kind of second year sophomore situation. You've seen a lot of teams dip after a year like we had last year. So I think we were really thoughtful about that in the off season, how we were going to counter that and make sure that our bellies weren't full, and we understood that the task here is to kind of reinvent the Houston Dynamo and make sure that we are putting ourselves in a position to win trophies every year, okay? Whether it's the Open Cup, whether it's CONCACAF, Leagues Cup, or MLS Cup, we have to ante up. We have to be in this stuff to ultimately have that one night of glory. And so it validates a little bit early, or it's early validation that we are doing some good things here, and we're trying to build something that's sustainable. But again, when this year's done, we'll try it again, and that'll be the goal. And that's how you start to build, I think, teams that end up holding the MLS Cup. And again, it's by anteing up as much as possible.
Thank you. And I have another one. So Brian Smetcher, he described the Dynamo as an experienced team. And obviously you guys are one of the best ones in the possession of the midfield. But how to get into those areas of danger against a team? Well, most teams know that you guys are very good in possession. So how to get past that?
Yeah, the last game we played there, I said we could have played another 45 minutes and not scored. It was very comfortable for them, I thought, in the defensive end. So that has to change from us. And, of course, we want to be brave and we want to play the game and be ourselves. But we also have to make sure we have more actions and more threatening moments in the attacking end and have possession with purpose. And so we've worked on that a little bit, and we're always working on that throughout the year. But in Seattle, they're very comfortable with that. If you let them be comfortable in the defensive end, they're collective, they're hard to break down, and they defend the box very well. So this is a task that's a big one, but one I think is doable. But we're going to have to be at our best.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Alex. Go ahead, Alex. Oh.
Great. First of all, Coach, good morning.
Hi, Alex.
Okay?
I got you.
Great to see you, Coach, and thank you for your time this morning. I guess Sam tried on the tactical. I'll approach it differently, and it makes sense, Coach. I don't think you give yourself enough credit as a motivator. How much motivating do you have to do for this particular group in this particular playoffs? I know it changes from year to year, but this is a mature group. They've been through. They have experience, but your psychological part is huge, in my opinion.
Well, it sounded like there was a compliment in there or two, so thank you for that. I think it's your instincts as a coach are like, if I need to motivate this group for a playoff game in Seattle, we got problems. Like, yeah, but I think there's always buttons to push. I think there's always the psychological part is certainly in play every day, every week, and against every opponent. So I don't have any rhyme or reason to why I do it other than feel and understanding individuals, understanding a team, and I've gotten it wrong plenty of times. I'm sure I've gotten it right a little bit, but it's about showing up and taking the temperature of the room, taking the temperature of the guys, understanding our history of who we were in certain moments, the character of the team, or the complexions of who we are as a group. Again, some of that comes from history. We've been good in these moments. We need smacked here. We need love here. I don't know. I don't have any rhyme or reason other than show up, be present, and take temperatures.
And beyond what you do, Coach, do you have a proxy inside the team? Who are the leaders right now that maybe need to step up more? And some of these gentlemen, of course, are professionals. This is what they've done in the past. They may not need any motivation.
Well, they got to bring their best, right? The whole goal here is at this point in the season, collectively, we got to bring our best, and individually, you only do that by individually bringing your best on a game like this when the lights come on. So that's where we start, and all we can do is prepare them on Seattle, the task at hand, try to put them into the scenarios and the intensity that we'll face But Alex, a lot of these guys have faced this before. They've been in these moments. And Hector, Hector's played in a bunch of World Cups and played in Spain, and he had to go away to Real Madrid plenty of times where it wasn't a lot of fun either. So Franco's, we've got enough experience out there to not get caught with kind of these bright lights. I don't fear that with our group. I think we are experienced. We have enough guys that have been around the block, and we build it that way, right? Last year we talked about it. We're going to bring in winners, guys that have been in games that matter, whether it's in this country or abroad. Pat Nasher did a great job of bringing in a lot of these guys that have been in these moments, and hopefully that translates.
Lastly, Coach, a message for the fans to motivate them not only to watch the away match on Monday, but to be supportive at Shell.
Yeah, I'll say the other night was a lot of fun, and those nights are great for points and wins. But one of the beautiful parts about having a game like against LA Galaxy is joy and bringing the people that came out, which was a big turnout the other night, to send them home with that kind of euphoria, euphoric moment down the stretch there, and hopefully that's enough of a teaser to get them back here in 2 weeks. But they know we need them. I think that game does help people come back because we are putting together, I think, a good product and one that deserves a packed house in playoffs. So I encourage everybody to come out. Also, it's a thank you to everyone that has showed up week in, week out this year and supported us, because as much as it's easy to come out the LA game and the playoff game, right? The old Dallas game on a Wednesday night when it's 91 degrees out, that helps us too. And so, I don't want to forget about the fans that have been here screaming and yelling, even when there's, 8,000 or 10,000 people in the stands.